Okay, well, looks like Facebook, Google, and Twitter executives are going to Capitol Hill on September 5th. They are going to talk to the Senate Intelligence Committee regarding so-called Russian meddling in U.S. elections. In other words, this isn't about Russian meddling. This is why the fuck did Trump win, and how are we going to do to make sure that that conservatives that the Trump type people don't win. This is what this is about. I'm sorry. Screw you. The amount of influence Russia had on the U.S. election 2016 was almost nil. And like I've said before, it was basically because Hillary's a horrible candidate, and her myrmidons were a bunch of assholes that pissed people off and said, "Fine, fuck you. We're gonna vote for Trump just because we hate you." I guarantee you that's why he won. And plus, I'm sorry, you couldn't. I mean, Hillary was a pretty horrible choice. Um, so Facebook, Twitter, and Google are pretty much there on hearings on, well, what are you going to do to stop Russian? This isn't about Russian interference. It's about what are you going to do to make sure that people that we, the establishment, and the mainstream media don't approve of, what are you going to do about them, making sure that you shut them up? I'm sorry that on how internet company platforms have used to sway American voters with misinformation. In other words, misinformation mean. Oh, here it is. Warner says to hear plans they have to place and press them to do more to work together to address this challenge. In other words, making sure Trump supporters don't actually get a say, and Trump supporters don't get who they want. Now, BuzzFeed News reported that Senator Richard Burr, chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, was planning to hold a September hearing on how internet companies are used to sway Americans with misinformation. In other words, information that we in Congress don't approve of being out there, which kind of makes us look like the asses we really are. So, yeah, about that. Um, so yes, I am very cynical. This is about, in my opinion, this is about freedom of speech. This is about censorship. This is like, well, if they supported Trump, they probably supported Russia, so they're Russian spies, so they're bots, and we're gonna no, fuck you, you little a-holes. Screw you people. Um, the people are going to be there. It's going to be Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook Chief Operating Officer, the Chief Executive Officer, Jack Dorsey of CEO, and then but Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai, hasn't responded yet to panel's invitation, according to BuzzFeed. So Facebook and Google didn't respond to a request and comment, and Twitter declined. So no one's going to comment on it. In other words, well, actually, this is a plan for us to screw over people who like Trump. I'm sorry, this is the way I look at it. Misinformation isn't always misinformation. The misinformation normally is coming, in my opinion, from the mainstream media, or from wonderful members of the House and Senate. Sorry, but yeah. Hearing comes as Congress looks to hold for the influence Russia was able to wield using tech platforms. In other words, we're going to hold you responsible for the people actually not voting for who we wanted to vote for, and they voted for who they wanted to vote for. How dare you? This isn't about Russian influence. This is about people speaking their mind. This is about people like, you're not going to censor us. We're going to say what we think. And the fact that people like InfoWars and other conservatives are saying, hey, Trump won not because of Russia, because of A, InfoWars, B, other other social media people who were not Russian spies, who were not Russian bots, who were Americans going, hey, this is what's really going on. And then people putting on videos showing what type of assholes and what type of jerks Hillary supporters were. And so it wasn't the Russians. It was, like I said, Hillary was a horrible candidate, and the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter people were a bunch of assholes, violent, felonious criminal assholes. All right, this had nothing to do with Russia. They're just using Russia as an excuse to take away people's freedoms, to try to censor people. And they've already said on this article here on CNET that about how many times, of course, Mark Zuckerberg got there to testify, but the thing is, they didn't have put him under oath, but they put other people under oath, like Diamond and Silk under oath. Diamond and Silk should have told them to go screw. Diamond and Silk should have sat there and freaking could have owned them. I mean, I think they were too nice to him, but Now, an earlier in July, executives of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, which is owned by Google parent company Alphabet, testified for the House Judiciary Committee on how they moderate their platforms. Well, that's kind of, in other words, how they sit there, moderate their platforms to make sure that that only Democrats, and pretty much how they screw over the conservatives, but like the left-wing a-holes do whatever the hell they want. Say this is the first time executives from these companies will testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee, which has been investigating Russian interference. No, they're investigating why did Trump win? This isn't about Russian interference. This is about Trump winning and the fact that the people finally got to say who they wanted, and to hell with the establishment. So this is the establishment whining that they lost because they're horrible candidates. Congress, really, the House and Senate, House and Senate have lower. These people are so bad that people have higher regard for cockroaches than they do these people. I mean, your approval rating, I think, is the only person I think has a lower approval rating than you is Adolf Hitler. Seriously. Because you guys suck. You guys don't read the bills you do sign. Because you need to sign this bill. How about you freaking read them first? Let's not get into this. And then you're blaming Russia because you guys suck. And then you guys, what we're going to do is you guys have called American citizens patriots Russian spies because they're not supporting your bullshit. So I'm going to tell you this right now. This whole thing is going to Senate Intelligence Committee is how can we sit there and censor law-abiding Americans and this isn't about Russian interference. All it takes is one of those guys to tell the guys that Senate there wasn't any Russian. If there wasn't enough. The fact is that you guys suck as candidates. And you establishment people are screwing over. I mean, I would love to hear someone say that. Because if he would have turned it around on them, they would have said, you know what? I would have told them to go screw themselves. In no uncertain words. My attorney would probably be telling me to shut up. It's like, dude, will you shut up? It's like, no, I'm going to tell them off. No, these guys are a-holes. They really are. The Russians didn't affect the election. It was, we all know what affected the election. It was the fact that, Trump had Trump. I mean, when Trump was having that many people at all his rallies, and they could barely fill up a section of one of Hillary's rallies, that was a telling thing right there. I mean, it was standing room only at his rallies. I mean, it was huge crowds there. On the other hand, at her rallies, sometimes she was lucky to get 200 to 2,000 people, and he was getting tens of thousands of people. Jeez. This has nothing to do with Russia influencing the election. This has everything to do with, why did Trump win? That's what it has to do with. And what do you do to make sure Trump doesn't win and the people we don't approve of don't win? That's what this is about. That's what it's about. It's about the fact is these people are probably going to be losing their seats in the next few years, and they're trying to save their ass. And so they're going to blame Russia all they can because not that the fact that the people are becoming wise to you and you don't like the fact that that social media is unfiltered and that the fact that the lamestream media is losing their influence. And this is what this is about. This isn't about Russia. Russia's the excuse. What it's really about is about censoring people who have opposing views on things and who are sick of their bullshit. So, yeah, go ahead and have your little September 5th thing because we all know it to be nothing but a charade.